Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here, and today with more Toonami news. In fact, today was a pretty big day. A lot of different things going on with regards to anime, with regards to Toonami as well. Let me start with probably the most long-awaited news of all this. Funimation has announced that episode 87 of My Hero Academia has finally been dubbed. And it has been announced that it will premiere on Funimation Now Sunday. So that means that on June 20th, we will be getting that episode on Toonami. And this kind of does prove one of my points I made earlier. Like, think about this rationally. If the episode was ready on Wednesday, as it clearly is, then you would think, okay, then it's only a couple days to Saturday. We can have it probably on Toonami. And you would be right. In theory, that could air on Toonami. That's not going to be an issue. However, like I said, and why I kept saying that if it was by Sunday we didn't get the new episode, we weren't going to get it new this week, is that Funimation almost certainly has a clause of right to first air with regards to this show against Toonami, which means that Funimation has full rights to be the first ones to air the episode, which means that since they like debuting their stuff on Sunday, it will be on Sunday, which means that Toonami can't get it until the next time Toonami airs after that, which is 6 days later on that following Saturday, which is why we'll be getting that episode on the 20th and not the 13th. And other show that got another stuff, interesting things, that Black Clover also had episode 125 dubbed, which means I believe now there's 4 episodes of Black Clover that have been dubbed and not yet aired on Toonami, so that gives Toonami a little bit more wiggle room with that regards as well. But again, I mean, considering they're probably only be dubbing these every 2-3 weeks, Toonami's going to eventually catch up, so they're going to still have to have a contingency plan in case of Black Clover, and for My Hero Academia as well, since there's actually a reasonable shot that episode 88 won't be ready to air by the 27th. Like, this is just episode 87. They haven't completed the whole season yet. There's still one more episode they haven't done. So it'd be interesting to see what goes on with those regards, if Funimation kicks up the pace. There was actually plenty of other episodes of their other anime that they dubbed as well, which is an interesting strategy that they're kind of trying to do their whole catalog instead of like the bigger names like they were doing earlier when they were only dubbing My Hero Academia and Black Clover. So let's see how that strategy pays off in the future. Another big Toonami news update is we got a little bit of information about Uzumaki. And right here you have the tweet from the official page of Uzumaki on Twitter. And basically they're saying here that we're getting work done. We're working hard on it. Here's the storyboard of various parts of the first episode. And I actually retweeted this and I said, if this is just where they are, like, we don't know when they actually made this storyboard. If this storyboard is like the work they've just been doing recently during this whole at home order thing, then it's gonna be a mad dash to have this finished in time. Like I said, animation takes time. And look how well detailed this is. And this is something they were really hyping up in the teaser trailer we got back in like August or September, is that this is going to be a very intricate anime. There is going to be a lot of time, a lot of effort placed on detailing these different things. And Junji Ito's work is very detailed if you've ever like looked at any of his manga. And it's something that's going to take time to translate into anime, which is why I was honestly a little skeptical back like when they're announcing that was going to be like only a 1-year turnaround. Like, by comparison, we had a 2-year turnaround with Fooly Cooly. And those episodes were done with pretty reasonable time, at least enough time that the first episode alternative was able to air months earlier as an April Fool's joke, you know? But, and that was a far less detailed anime than what Uzumaki is definitely promising to be, especially just looking at these storyboards. And again, there's also the big roadblock, which is dubbing studios are still closed, so that means a lot of stuff has to change as well. I think they'd almost have to have dubbing studios actually be open by August, maybe September by the time, so this could air in October, like I'm assuming was originally planned. A lot of people kind of assumed it was going to be in October because spooky Halloween, and have the opportunity to have the 4th episode, the finale, air on Halloween too. Very tempting. And it's going to be mad dash if they're going to get it done in time, which is why I'm honestly still a bit skeptical of that. And now, probably the smallest piece of news, but something that's interesting, is that The Promised Neverland, my my pick for the best anime 2019 is getting a live action series, probably because God hates us. And it's funny, I have seen like other stuff, like the other two things I saw, like mixed reception of like, oh, about time for like the My Hero Academia dub, or some people pointing out some of the concerns I had about Uzumaki, and some people saying like good stuff about Uzumaki, good stuff about My Hero Academia being ready. I have yet to see a positive thing about positive reception to this news, and that is amazing. Like I saw more positive news when Genlock got announced for the block, and it's just like, I mean, here's the thing: there is a long story tradition of people ruining anime adaptations by making them live action, and to make things worse, I believe it's going to be directed by the same guy who directed the Death Note adaptation, which is the coup de grace of the crappy anime streaming service adaptations. Like this will be done by Amazon for Amazon Prime service, and that one I believe was Netflix, the Death Note one. So I saw like many like good comments on like the very first comment, like the highest rated comment on just this Twitter on this Twitter post was no, please no, which honestly sums us up better than anything I could honestly say with regards to this. I saw somewhere it's like watch them like they're in a Brooklyn apartment. It's during COVID times. You can't go outside. Mama owns the apartment and is forcing the kids to stay in or something. It's just like, and it's like, oh, and they have a Brooklyn accent that magically drop halfway through. It's like someone absolutely ripping on this, and honestly, I just can't see how this is gonna work, you know? And especially how people like really antsy about subject matter. If you haven't watched Promise Neverland, this is a dark show. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It gets dark, and it's gonna be hard to adapt, especially since these live action adaptations try to appeal to a wider audience, and anime has a bit of a more of a free air to be more niche. And I think it's gonna get bad. Like it's not gonna work. And also another little tidbit, Promise Neverland related, is that apparently it has been announced that Funimation is acquiring the streaming rights to the Promise Neverland Season 1 dub, which doesn't sound like much until you realize that the rights are currently owned by Toonami, which kind of points that Season 1, like, if there are people talking about, like, what shows are going to fill in various holes in the block wall, the dubbing studios are closed, it's not going to be the Promise Neverland, because Toonami is about to lose the rights to the dub of it, and that sucks because that's probably the best show they currently have in their arsenal to probably re-air. They didn't even finish the first re-airing of it. They just cut it after episode 8. And if you've watched Promise Neverland, you know that's probably the worst episode to stop watching at because of what happens that episode. I mean, jeez. But again, what are your opinions? What's your thoughts on these news updates? How bad do you think this Promise Neverland adaptation is going to be? What's your thoughts on My Hero Academia's episode 87 finally being dubbed? What's your thoughts on Uzumaki and its progress so far? I love reading your opinions. Leave your comments down below. If you like this content, if you want more Toonami news, anime news, content like this, please like, please comment, and please subscribe. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.